Call the meeting order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chang? Here. Councilmember Power?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Covencourt?
Here.
And Mayor Davies.
Here.
Everyone is present. Thank you.
If we get everybody rise for our invocation and our flag salute, our invocation tonight will be offered by Pastor Kyle Phillips from the Grace Fellowship Church.
Bow our hearts and heads together.
Thank you, sir.
Lord, in this season of hope and expectation, it's good to gather. And I would pray, Lord, that you would just fill the space with your peace, that the discussions, deliberations, decisions might be marked by your justice and your truth, and for your glory. In your precious name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Jeanette, would you offer the flag salute first, please?
Sure. Salute. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can all be seated. Thank you. I'll turn the time over to Ashley.
Thank you. If I can have the following elected officials join me at the front of the room for the oath of office. Councilmember District 2, Jeanette Power. Councilmember District 3, Michael Davies. Councilmember District 5, Hannah Chung. City Clerk, Tori Marsh. And City Treasurer, Mariana Gutierrez. You will each raise your right hand, and you can just say yes or I agree. I, your name, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
I do.
I do.
All right, congratulations, you are all newly elected. Thank you. With that, we will now take nominations for the position of mayor. So a few things to note with that. The previous mayor, Mr. Davies, cannot be nominated to serve a consecutive term. We do not need a motion or second for nominations. Once nominations have closed and voting commences, you may only vote yes for one nominee. So I will now open the nominations for mayor. Do we have any nominations?
I would like to nominate Vice Mayor Court.
Do we have any other nominations?
I move that nominations be closed.
All right, nominations are now closed. The nominations for Councilmember Court as mayor, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Chung?
Yes.
Councilmember Power?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Court?
Yes.
And Councilmember Davies.
Yes.
Councilmember Court is now mayor. Congratulations. We will now take nominations for the position of Mayor Pro Tem. We'll have the same process. So nominations are now open. Do I have any nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Jeanette Powers as Mayor Pro Tem.
Do we have any other nominations? Okay, nominations are now closed. For the nomination of Councilmember Jeanette Power as Mayor Pro Tem, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Chung?
Yes.
Councilmember Power?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Court?
Absolutely.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Power is now Mayor Pro Tem. Congratulations. We'll now take a brief intermission so we can reseat our council.
Can we ask the council members to come forward with the mayor in the middle, and we'll take a photo of our new council.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Good job, sir.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thanks for everything.
For wingman.
Yes. Congratulations.
Joe, congratulations. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, dear.
Oh,
thank you.
Have you right here.
Okay.
Did you find you all out there?
And H, you were here. Great. Okay.
Everybody ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Pat? Anyone else like photos? You can come in if you'd like to come forward.
Any family photos, feel free.
Yeah.
Now's the time, man. This is the moment.
There's Ashley. Oh, you got one?
Can I get a picture up here with you all? Picture up here?
And maybe Tori and Mariana, if you'd like to join the group, your elected treasurer and clerk, please do. But any family photos, please feel free.
Okay, right back here to the. Here. Okay, back to the middle. Anyone else with photos? You guys?
Yeah,
hold on,
just
hold-
with her.
Hold
Yeah.
position one more, if you don't mind. Oh, you're good.
Scout.
John's one with her
Yeah.
family.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is that
We
okay?
can- of course
What
it
else
is.
do we need?
Okay, right here, guys. Everyone here? Okay, perfect, got it. You got it. Hey, guys.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. The mayor's
Okay, give me this.
The outgoing mayor, one of the parents, Jim. No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not one with them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They wanted you seated with your
Oh, okay, when I get there. When you get there.
My son and his
Thanks for coming.
fiance just, you're going to be that.
Hey, I need your number. I don't have your number. I need your number too.
Oh.
I've got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeanette, did you get a picture?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Now we'll do like a cover down. Not right. A demure cover down.
Do you need the water bottle?
I think that's my nice, yeah.
That's, okay.
All right.
Are we good, Ashley? Good.
Yeah, we're good. Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. What is it? 6:08. Anyway, consent agenda. Oh, first of all, I'd like to thank Michael for all his service to the city of Tehachapi. I happen to love this city. I've lived here 53 years. And it's changed quite a bit. When I first came, there was only 5,000 people. And now what do we have?
10.
10? So, yeah, we've doubled in
40,000 in the
size.
community.
Right, exactly. Anyway, so I'd like to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And keep it up, I know you will. And I am delighted and honored to serve my favorite city. I've been a lot of places, and there's no place like home. And Tehachapi has grown and become a beautiful little city, and I get all kinds of good comments from people when I work at the depot, at the visitor center, very positive things. So I hope to serve my community that I love with humility and love. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't start crying all the time, so get ready. Okay, now we start, right, correct?
Consent agenda.
Oh, consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. Staff recommendations are shown in caps. So if you have an agenda and the recommendations are usually darker print and in larger caps, so if you ever get on the agenda, it's that. Okay, public comment. Do we have any?
Well, wait, before you go, let's.
Oh, whoa, I'm sorry.
Is there anybody from the audience or council that wants to remove something on consent, and then we'll ask for a motion?
Okay, does anybody in our audience want to remove anything from the consent agenda? No? Council?
No.
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Chung?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Pokencourt?
Yes.
5-0 vote, motion carried.
And do we have any public comment? Audience? Did you receive anything, Ashley?
Nothing on
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, city clerk reports.
So we're actually on item 10, Development
Oh,
Services
all the way
Director.
over there. Okay, and that is Andrew Norton, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Oh, are you working? Okay. Good evening, Mayor Pokencourt. And
Thank you.
Congratulations. Tonight we bring to you the adoption of staff CEQA determination for the Valley Boulevard Road resurfacing project, Phase 2. A bit of background of the project: RSTB Valley Phase 2 is going to pick up at Beach Street and proceed towards Tucker. We're hoping to pave the whole distance with a 2-inch grind and overlay. Once we've established the boundaries of the project, we go through the CEQA process. So for CEQA, it's categorically exempt under section 15301, existing facilities. That includes operations, repair, maintenance of existing facilities, including highways and streets. So in the environmental world, we fall under an exemption as an existing road. So our ask then of council is to adopt the CEQA notice of exemption and direct staff to file the notice of exemption. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding RSDP Valley 2 or CEQA.
Do I have any questions from the audience at this time? Council?
No.
Okay, Joe.
I had a question regarding at Griffin Hollow, I forget the name of that road, street.
Griffin.
There are no guardrails on the north side. There haven't been ever since it's been there. Is that part of the project at all? I
No,
think
that's
I
just
asked.
simply 2 inches grind, full width, and then we'll repave the road just like we did Valley
Okay,
previously.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's all I
Valley.
have.
Valley is quite beautiful now. It's, I love when I go on the newly paved section. It's like smooth as glass.
Yes.
It's fun. Thank you.
I know, Mr. Smith, you've mentioned that a couple times, as you recall.
I keep trying.
Yeah, that is a county island. Years ago, the city petitioned the county and we took that part of Valley over so that we could maintain it, hence the project. The budget that we have tonight, or we'll have for you soon, which is actually already in the budget, I'll say, that you approved last year for next year with our 5-year rolling budget, doesn't have the guardrails, but we can certainly look at that because I spied that a couple times, and no one, to my knowledge, has ever gone over, but I think, you know, guardrails are a good thing, and we'll take a look at that and see what we can do within the perimeters of timing, schedules, and budgets.
Or even a larger, beefier curb of asphalt.
Right,
Whatever.
a bumper, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guardrails are very expensive, but maybe an asphalt bumper of
There's
some
not
sort.
much room to put one in there, I know, but,
But that's county on both sides of the
yeah,
road.
just
to
a very
remind
narrow
the city
shoulder.
council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Thank you
least
for
we
the
have the
comments.
sidewalk on the south
Yeah,
side.
thank you.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
So we need a motion to.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we, on item 10, that we adopt the CEQA notice of exemption for Valley Boulevard Road Resurfacing Project Phase 2 and direct staff to file the same.
I'll second.
Councilmember Chong?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power?
Yes.
Mayor Pokencourt?
Yes.
5-0, vote motion carried.
Okay, assistant manager report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll make a
Lori.
little text switcheroo here. All right. There it goes. There it is. Okay. All right, good evening. Mayor Pokencourt and council members. Only in Tehachapi will the lady used to yell at you to run faster and PE can now become your mayor. Congratulations. Wanted to give it council an update. We're always looking for ways to make our operations more efficient, and we have in the past adopted certain technologies, especially those regarding AI, that helps us do that. So in the state of California, we are awash with legislative proposals. I think the governor considered over 800 last legislative session, which wrapped up. We're getting ready and have just actually recently started, albeit slowly, the latest legislative session, the 25-27 legislative session. A lot of new lawmakers in Sacramento folks turned out, and so we expect quite a few bills, and there already have been some that have been introduced in the state legislature. It's a complex process. There's committees. It's tough for us to monitor it all. Sometimes we rely on media coverage, which can be unreliable or, you know, slanted one way or the other. You know, we have some other services we subscribe to. League of California Cities is very helpful with certain action item bills that they believe could either impact or negatively impact or even, you know, be a positive for cities. And they have their advocates as well. And oftentimes we bring stuff to the council to support or oppose certain legislation. But it's hard to track it all because you're talking over 1,000+ bills in any legislative cycle. I know the current assembly leader has proposed a cap to about 30 per lawmaker this session, which still is quite a few. So we're trying to find ways to track those as easy as possible. We came across this format called GovBuddy. And so what GovBuddy does, I'm going to do a little quick demo here. We're able to assign certain things such as filters. And so these are a couple I threw out in economic development, fire insurance, law enforcement, wildfire bills. They're keywords. And when something pops up, if a bill is introduced with those keywords, right now there hasn't been much because there's been a few introduced in the first kind of odd in-between dead period session they had. I'll get an email alert about this bill was proposed. I can assign it to a bill group, which I have set up a couple as well on this legislative tracking side. So here's right now a couple of bill groups we have for 2025. There's a couple bills in there. Some are carryovers from the last legislative session that are expected to be heard in committee. One of them, just for example, in housing 2025, because the state's always pushing for more housing. SB 9 is an example. So if I click on that, I get the lawmaker, and then if I even click on that, I can get more details about the lawmaker. He represents the Orinda area, District 7, he's a Democrat, and it's got some legislative history. It's got details about his staff, his contact information, which is it's easier to find than looking up on individual websites, and so forth. In addition, when I go back to the bill, I get a quick summary, which basically is, let's give you an AI-generated summary in plain English of what this bill is. Because if I go to the bill text, usually the bill text is 15 to 20 pages long. But this bill, it will amend certain sections of the government code to land use. It aims to simplify the process of creating accessory dwelling units by prohibiting local agencies, that's us, from imposing certain requirements or standards when evaluating these units. Specifically, prohibit the imposition of owner-occupied requirements. Some cities have that rule. If you're going to build an ADU and have it an Airbnb, you have to have a owner that lives on the property. Some say also for rentals, if you have an ADU, you want to make a rental, you must live in the front unit. That would get rid of that. And also would erase any parking standards for accessory dwelling units, regardless of whether the local agency has adopted a local ordinance. So this would impact us when our operations for ADUs. And of course, the bill it claims it would make it easier for homeowners to create and use accessory dwelling units on their properties. So this is the bill was introduced on December 3rd. As you can see, it was referred to the Senate committee. So there's a couple little timelines up here. Every bill goes from introduction and reading to a committee on either house of which it was introduced. Then it goes to the floor of that house. Then it goes to a related committee, and whether it's the upper house or the lower house. In this case, it started in the Senate, so it would go to the lower house for Assembly Committee, a floor vote there. If both pass, it would go on to the governor for signature. So if I click on this tab, this is where the AI piece comes in. They use something called politics.ai. And what that does is it uses their artificial intelligence engine to connect specific bills to the legislators and staff most likely to influence their passage. So for example, this, according to Politics AI, says SB 9 likely is to be voted on the floor. And it's been assigned to a committee, so if I click committee members, I can see who's on that committee and likely who's going to vote for it. So we have 3 ayes, and it looks like our Senator Grove would be, based on her previous experiences, previous voting, party affiliation, even the legislator staffer who's kind of handling that committee will make recommendations based on, apparently Mr. Mark Reeder's past. He would most likely tell Senator Grove to vote against this, but most likely it will go to the full Senate floor for a vote. We also are able to, not only click on a staffer's name, but we can get his contact information as well. And this goes through all different bills throughout this software. It does send daily updates as well. So based on some of those keywords I put in or a bill that we happen to be tracking, I'll get an alert that says this bill was amended. This bill is due for a vote in the Senate Committee on Rules on January 10th. And so it allows you to track these bills, and you can also, again, with the information on the committees, it's easier to send the support letters that we often bring to council, opposition letters that we often bring to council as well. So this goes through using that AI probability, and then once it gets past the floor vote, we don't have anything right now because the session is very young, but once it gets past the committee vote and it goes to a floor vote, they will generate the probability of that bill being voted on in that house. And just like it does in the committee, it'll give you the idea of likely on the floor who and how those lawmakers will vote. So some of the bills, sometimes I wanted to point out another one too. I can also just go back and do a generic search on all the bills, and right now there's just a few pages. Most of them are rules related, but if I just wanted to check out what was happening in this session so far, I click Senate and Assembly. I go to this new legislative session and search, and thus far, give me 155 bills have been introduced. This was from day 1, so there was AB 1, 2, 3, and on down the line. If I go all the way back to the last thing that was proposed on page 16 thus far, there's some things for school governance, It was also corrected, and so I can basically go back and check any one of these bills to see it's being referred to the Senate committee. This is SR 7. This is the Senate resolution. And there's some reforms in governance structure of schools. Again, going to key connections, I can find out what the probability of this bill will be going to the floor. So this says it's likely to be voted on the floor, and it's got some folks on potential lawmakers that are co-authors of this bill. You can also see similar legislation that has been proposed by these lawmakers in the past. So it uses predictive behavior to say these lawmakers usually vote this way with this person on this committee, and therefore we anticipate this bill to be approved or not receive a floor vote. So a lot of tools, still kind of ramping it up because it's very young in the legislative session, but we're able to get daily updates of certain bills we're tracking, and then obviously much easier contact information for lawmakers. And you can also file your letters of support or opposition on this platform, so we have it always on here as well as part of our GovBuddy subscription. This only costs just over $1,000 a year, so very affordable for all the tools that we get, and it'll just help us with limited staff continue to track what's happening in Sacramento. And it'll even give us things that are like beyond just the ABs and SBs. It'll give us Senate resolutions, which a couple of resolutions were snuck in late last year, never voted on the floor, and so it'll give us alerts to when those are occurring as well. So it's just adding to the toolkit we have. This one will allow us to take a little more proactive approach in tracking what's happening in Sacramento, the things that will trickle down and impact our operations in the city. So, have any questions? Anyone has it?
I have a question. So does it show the SB or AB, those already exist?
Yeah, so
not only the new ones, but the old ones.
Yeah, so if I go back to like the last legislative session, and I'm just gonna hit search generically on the last session, and we'll see, it'll give you that timeline of bills. Let's see one that, here, covered California expansion. Click on that one. This was AB4, and you can see what happened to AB4. So it was introduced in the Assembly, it went through committee, it passed the Assembly floor vote, and then looks like it stalled in the Senate committee. And if I click activity, it'll tell me what happened. So with this bill, you can see it's referred to the suspense file, which usually is a holdover. When they throw something in the suspense file, that means we'll deal with this next session or next year. And looks like right now it was held under submission. So usually the lawmaker said, hold on to that. I want to make an amendment, bring it back next year. But any bill that was passed on the last session would go through all of these check boxes, and some that are like this one looks like it's being held over could be considered as well. And you can track those too. So because a lot of stuff does get held over from, some do get referred back to the secretary, which means basically it is dead. So, and then some were vetoed by the governor and signed as well. So we can track the last legislative session, which is the last 2 years, and then the upcoming legislative session as well, which we are underway. But it really ramps up in January. We've got some committee hearings scheduled for as soon as January 6th, it looks like, with some of the early bills. But I expect the big onslaught to start in January when lawmakers return to Sacramento. We'll see all the legislation filed at that point. So,
what's the color coding on the bar that goes from dark to bright red?
This is that process. So this was introduced in the Assembly, and then as it gets closer to the governor signing it, that's where it gets red. So it's just to show the difference. There's no the color doesn't mean much other than just help you track it easier with your eyes. So so there's no, it doesn't turn green or something when the governor signs it. It will get a green check mark when the governor signs it. Okay. If I can find one that was signed last year. We only signed 800 plus, so there should be plenty to choose from. See if this was, so that was in committee, that died in active file. So you can see some of these that died. Chaptered by Secretary of State is also one that did not receive action by the governor. Trying to see if there's one here. Yeah, held that action. So anyway, there's so many to go with on this one. But yeah, it does help. It does go through that process to show where it's at. And then it'll give you a schedule. So if you're actively tracking the bill, which we are, like I said, these are the bill groups I've created thus far for 2025. And there's a waste and recycling one about ways to compost materials and to clean up some language in the state constitution. There was a, just for the council's information, AB 21, remember our friend, the Taxpayer Protection Act, or AKA the corporate tax trick? It's back. However, because it was thrown out by the California Supreme Court, who said this is a constitutional amendment, not something that can be done just by the regular election process. They're trying to do it as a proposition. This is being brought back as a constitutional amendment by Carl DeMaio. He's a Republican. He does not have a long track record of success in the Assembly. And so you can see this is kind of the same stuff that we dealt with the corporate tax trick. It's again back trying to change what we call as like development fees, turning them into taxes, which will require a vote. And this one hasn't been assigned to a committee yet, so the key connections wouldn't quite work. But it most likely will not, might not even be referred to a committee, but if it does, it most likely will not be passed on to the floor. But this is obviously one done for political reasons to get it out there, since it was thrown out by the Supreme Court last year. So.
Will there be platforms that you'll share this information on, like EDC?
Yeah, so
or?
we can do something really cool. I'm glad you brought that up. I haven't quite done it yet, but on Report Builder, I can pull some of those bills into Report. I don't have one done yet. But say we have a series of housing bills that we are tracking. We can actually put them in a Report Builder, export the report, and then we get the iframe code that goes, so we can post that on our website. So a resident can go look and see the bills that we're tracking, and they can see the status of those bills as well, based on where their committees, what committees have been heard and that sort of thing. So once we ramp up the legislative session and we're into more issues, we can definitely take some of those. If there's one that's really concerning to the council, that's something we can export a report and put that bill on a page on our website. Maybe we create a legislative page, and then you can track pretty much real time. I get emails every day from this thing. If I really wanted to be sporty, I can get text messages, but we're not quite there yet. But I can get a text alert when a bill is being amended or being sent to committee, when a floor vote is scheduled, and all those things as well. So it's just a way to be a little bit in front of the news cycle, and with us is we're going to go back and check out some things that passed last cycle, because sometimes it takes a year or two to actually become law, even though it was passed in the last cycle, and then we're hit with this brand new, hey, by January 1, you have to do this. So we'll be able to keep better tabs on those sorts of things as well. So.
Would we, as a member of the council, have access to this?
You have access to any reports right now. We just bought the one license,
Okay.
But if there's, again, the goal with this is to basically have all the departments sort of share what, and I kind of know we have housing,
Yeah.
CEQA, water, all these sorts of things that we're always looking at. We kind of have an idea. There are some bills we're tracking right now. There's some water recycling bills that the state's trying to push to advance water recycling projects, which we've been advocating for anyway. So we'll be able to get those. If there are ones that are a lot of concern, we'll definitely ask council for support or opposition letters to those.
Okay.
And then any ones that are really high level, I think we can definitely post on the website, so council can track those as well.
All right. Thank you, Cory.
What, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know this isn't a crystal ball, but do you think that this will help you anticipate what might be coming down the pike?
Yeah, and that's where
roads?
the AI, the politics AI comes in, because so many things get thrown out there, and then for politics AI to be able to predict kind of based on previous behaviors, this is unlikely to go to the floor. All right, well, let's not worry about this. But if there's one that pops up that is of a huge concern and it's likely to go to the floor, then that's one. So I think that would definitely help not have to worry about so much. Because in the past, I would literally just go through the Secretary of State's website and see the California legislature site and try to go through. You just get a laundry list of bills. And I click on each one, and all you get is the bill text. You don't get this summary that kind of puts it in plain English what it means. You get the whole summary, and it's a lot of thous and strikeouts and amending this code to say this. It doesn't really say what it does, and so this will help do that a little bit as well. So it will help prioritize what's actually going to be a concern, as opposed to ones that are just thrown out there for political reasons. And it does give you similar legislation too, to see if this is something else in another house that might be similar. A lot of times that happens, and then they come together and say, okay, I'll drop my AD for your SB, I'll support it in my committee, that sort of thing. So this predicts that, modeling based on relationships between lawmakers and even staff members as well.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Very powerful tool.
Yeah.
Would the League of California Cities use this to monitor things that everybody needs to, let's say we're monitoring, are all cities going to be doing the same thing, or would the league be involved with getting everybody, hey, we used to get alerts for certain things that we want to oppose or
Yeah, and they still do
forward.
that. I'm sure they use it very similar. Now, they do have people in Sacramento. I was just on a conference call today on fire insurance and they had 2 of their lobbyists from Sacramento on the call. So they're there every day knocking on doors, going through all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is consider this kind of not a cheap lobbyist, but a cheap kind of eyes and ears in Sacramento. We don't have a lobbyist there doing our bidding, but this is a way to monitor. There was one on, I think it was on fire insurance, AB 1 and AB 69, both are regarding the FAIR plan. And so I know the league today said that they're in support of AB 1. It has not been referred to a committee yet. This AB 1 says basically, if you're getting your FAIR plan, you have to the insurance company must prove they can't insure you through a traditional plan. This one, they believe AB 1 is unlikely to be voted on the floor, but it hasn't been assigned to a committee yet, so they can predict what committee it might be going to. They list a couple. If you click committee, it's got environmental safety and toxic materials, the insurance committee, which all these are 4 votes, which I'm not sure why they're saying it's unlikely to be voted on, but it hasn't been actually assigned to a committee yet. So this one, this is one that the league is already tracking on, AB 1, and then also SB 69, which was on there as well, or AB 69. And again, a fair policy plan renewal. This one too, by Lisa Calderon. Key connections on this one. This has not been assigned to a committee yet either, but this one I believe also they predict this one to actually get, it's likely to be voted on the floor. And again, based on history, we can go back to previous versions and that sort of thing as well. So this was the bill summary, and this is just saying it's trying to include, this is the one that actually requires them to prove why they can't move it to a voluntary market insurance company before renewal. So a lot of stuff happening on the FAIR plan right now in fire insurance. There'll be a lot happening in 2025 for sure. But I know the league is on some of these bills. I assume they probably have, if not this, a similar software, but they have people physically in Sacramento as well. It's all part of the dues we pay to be a member of the League in California Cities.
That's a lot of information available. Very.
Still figuring it all out too. We just signed up last week, so I'm still playing with it.
Wow.
But,
It's amazing.
and it's real early in the session, so we're not getting inundated yet with new bills, but I anticipate January is really going to start firing off with new stuff.
So the AI politics, what's the name of that?
Politics.ai, yeah.
Yeah, and there's something to keep that in a neutral position, not lean left or right, or?
Yeah, because it just goes based
the
on
facts,
past
ma'am?
behaviors. It's all based on past behaviors of lawmakers. So sometimes you'll see like a Republican bill come forward and it'll say unlikely to be voted on. That's because the committee it's going through has 1 Republican, 5 Democrats, and whatever they're pushing doesn't align with the previous votes and position politically of those on the committee, so it's most likely to die in committee. So it doesn't actually have any feelings, so to speak. It all is based on previous actions of lawmakers, and including staff members as well. And I get the last couple updates I receive via email have just been staff member changes because there's new lawmakers, so-and-so's leaving, this person now works for this lawmaker, and so it updates every single day when there's a change in staff.
Wow.
It's even updating, I'm getting emails that the Facebook page for a certain lawmaker has changed. It's now this, or their Twitter handle is now this instead of this, because they might have gone from the Assembly to the Senate, so they changed their Twitter profile name and it's now something different. So a lot of information and really easy to get a hold of staff members within the lawmakers' offices. So, anything else?
I think.
Okay,
Great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
This
you,
is going
Mr.
to be a really
Costello.
nifty tool for us. When Corey and I first started talking about it, immediately we knew that it was something that we should sign up to. Again, the league and our representatives, we talk to them daily, weekly, if you will. But Sacramento has a bad habit of requiring unfunded mandates. So as we build our budgets, as we provide a higher quality of life for our citizens, it behooves us to know what's on the horizon. And so that's really the biggest reason that I agreed to this, was so that we can understand what's coming down the pipe, right? And we can understand that and we can plan for it with personnel, with budgets, whatever. Unfunded mandates are Sacramento's, favorite thing to do.
And as is the case with a lot of this AI technology, it's surprising, but we seem to be one of the first cities to adopt it. I was on that conference call today with the league, and a colleague of mine in Lake Elsinore was on it, so I sent her a text, and she's also in charge of legislative affairs, and I said, oh, we just signed up with GovBuddy, and she said, well, tell me more. And so I'm actually going to do a little product demo with her on Wednesday morning via Zoom, just because that's the larger city in Southern California that had no clue that something like this existed. So
Really?
yeah, it's an opportunity, which we did in the past with Place Area and other cities around us, to show them how this tool works, and then they can make that decision when they have their own sales page.
Were there other products to choose from to see how they worked?
It really what started me thinking was at the Energy Summit when I was on that panel, and one of the gentlemen was from an engineering company, and he talked about they have their own sort of algorithm and tracking tool. And so I reached out to him and asked, hey, I'd like to see that. But their cost was far higher than this, and it frankly didn't have the power that this did. It was something they developed in-house. They did offer it to clients. That would require probably it's an engineering firm, and so they didn't want to go down that road necessarily. But this had a much more is aimed towards municipal governments than what an engineering firm would have. So there are a couple out there, but this one, kind of pecking around, this was the easiest to use. And once we figure it out completely, it'll probably be even easier.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Costello. City manager report.
Thank you, Mayor Podencourt. A couple things. I wanted to let you know that the Reindeer Rush program is going along splendid. We have a lot of participation from the public, not just children, but adults alike. They're actually going into stores. They're finding the reindeer. The stores are stamping their little passport. All the stores downtown, the feedback is 100% positive. They're coming into City Hall, turning in their passports, receiving raffle tickets for the donated items, which are, again, amazing. So a little economic program that Key and his group have put together. So thank you, Key, and others that have helped on that, Jessica and Maya. Hometown Christmas, the entire day was amazing. Again, I know all of you participated. Thank you for that. Downtown was just a buzz. The Chamber of Commerce, the parade, one of the best Christmas parades I've ever seen. So many volunteers, so many sponsors. Thank all the sponsors for Hometown and the parade. And then the tree lighting ceremony that evening. There were more people downtown than I've ever seen. Santa did an amazing job, and we had the snow falling, and I know the snow is going to be snowing every night for about 45 minutes at the tree, starting tonight. So that will be really nice for photos and different things. I know a lot of people take family photos for Christmas cards and memories down there. So thank you to everybody that participated. I want to shout out to Chris Budge. Chris Budge is Key's wife, and Chris designed this logo.
Oh, wow.
And she's designed the next two logos, actually, in advance, and they are stunning.
Yes.
It's world-class graphic design, and I just wanted to shout out to Chris. She helps us a lot at the city. She flies under the radar. She doesn't want any public thanks. She won't take any money. She just does it out of the kindness of her heart. So we want to really thank Chris.
Thank you.
And she does from time to time. We have hired her to do a couple things, but she does way more than we could ever pay her, that's for sure. This Wednesday, Kern County Fire Department will be receiving and welcoming their new firefighting helicopter. That's Wednesday at 1:30 at the Tehachapi Airport. The helicopter will be based at Tehachapi, which we're very proud of. So I know that there's going to be an event, a Kern County Fire Department event. We will attend. I think all of you have RSVP'd. So thank you in advance for that, and thank you for Kern County for investing in fire protection in our community, in our county. It's a big deal. Coffee with the mayor is Thursday this week, so 7:30 a.m. Please join us for that. And I know Rotary has their annual food drive. They're receiving donations now and putting together boxes for those in need. I know the city of Tehachapi has been coordinating, helping the Rotary in a big way for that food delivery. The city Public Works Department will be assisting in the food delivery for that on Thursday. So we want to thank everyone that's been involved with that. Thank Public Works for all of the work that they've put in over this holiday season. Thank you to Police Department for all of the public safety that they have really just gone out of their way to keep everyone safe and secure. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for everything, to the City Council, to the employees, and to all the citizens of our great city.
All righty. Council member reports. Michael, do you have anything?
No, just the down home Christmas. This is amazing. There's so many people there. I've had so many comments all week. It was just wonderful. Everybody I talked to, it's just I'd like to. Do we have a Corey? Do we have a number with your AI? How many people were here?
1,700 in the hometown Christmas portion, not counting the parade yet.
Yes.
But 1,776% were locals.
Wow.
So
And
9.5
more
was
came
good.
downtown.
Yeah.
Well, you saw it, you were obviously there, but Tehachapi Boulevard, from Curry to Robinson Depot to Kelsey's, was completely shoulder to shoulder. It was amazing.
Yeah. It was a great job to everybody. That was just amazing. I don't know, we're gonna make it grow, but you know, be careful.
I know that Maya, you're gonna be putting together maybe a video or two that we'll put on social media. Maybe we can show a video here at the meeting, but this is kind of a recap of 2024, if you will, so something we're proud of. The city employees and the city council volunteers, we continue to just work closer and closer together all the time and produce good product for this community.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, Jeanette?
Again, Hometown Christmas, I just wanted to thank everybody because that was a huge community effort, from the organizing to the implementing, the safety, the street closures. I had several young families tell me how outstanding it was that they didn't have to tell their kids no, that they could go to all of these different booths and do an ornament and get a cookie and have everything, because some of the families that I know have 4 and 5 kids, and $5 here, $5 there, it starts adding up. They also said thank you for not getting food trucks, so they didn't have to turn food trucks down, and they ate a nice family meal together. I think they went to Petra's, but numerous families stopped me to tell me how much that meant to them this year. So thank you for providing a safe environment, but one where the parents could just watch the joy in their children's lives, and the kids could do whatever they want and be safe. And the other thing I heard was this: a lot of people felt very, very safe walking on Tehachapi Boulevard. That seeing those physical barriers was a huge thing for them. That they didn't have to worry about their kids stepping out on the curb or getting hurt. And I was surprised actually at how many people told me that. So thank you very much. Those little changes mean a lot, and they pivot and create other changes that make it even better. So thank you very much for all that you did.
I just want to echo some of the comments about Michael Davies serving for mayor for 2 years. Thank you. You did an admirable job. You were a champion for our community whenever you were out there, and I just wanted to again say thank you for your service in that role. Maybe at a later time, at a meeting where it's not as, because we approach code enforcement like rental properties and that at one point, maybe come back and readdress that. As you walk around town, some of them need a lot of help, and you can just tell the landlord maybe doesn't live here, or some of the property, and you can turn it in on the website. And sometimes it takes a while, But it'd be good to have code enforcement just show up and say, here's what we're doing, some of the things, because it's a very difficult job, and they've been doing, I think, an admirable job, a very good job of what they're doing. But maybe a little feedback and report on, here's some of the things we've addressed. In the past years, here's a home that had to be, condemned and rehabilitated, and we've done that. But can we maybe have just a, not a lengthy report, but some kind of a feedback, something that we could, share. Okay?
Absolutely. I will talk to Chief Standridge about that. And you're right, Councilmember Smith. Rental properties are tough, and a lot of times the individuals that are renting are a bit of a victim from time to time. And so we're looking at improving our codes for that. And we can certainly come and talk to you about that. And I know Chief and Jay and his team are actually working on some suggested changes that will protect the renter and, and the owner alike, but also the city and the look and feel. So we're working on that, and we'll bring something back in January and February.
And then I've also noticed some properties around the downtown that have been sitting kind of in disrepair, and looks like they've been either purchased or whatever, but they're renovating some of the properties in the downtown area, and they're really sprucing them up and making them look good.
Yep.
So that's a good sign when you have people moving into the downtown area that's, it's not a brand new home if it's downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And to have them fixed up and the yards cleaned up, and a kind of contagion that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
So something to look at, don't
I
they?
agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hannah?
I just wanted to say, tell everyone Merry Christmas and very merry and happy. I wish you the very merry, happy, and safe holidays. And I also wanted to thank Mayor Davis for his excellence. The job and his commitment is, superb. And I always notice that how much he has been involved with the communities. And it's a lot of, time and effort for his side that he has to put in for the community. And I can see his love for the community. And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then my comments, the parade route, I love the new parade route. I got to watch the parade for the first time in I don't know how many years because it came right by. And the Terrigen float, I thought we were at the Macy's Day Parade. It was beautiful. I think we need some more snow blowers. One is not enough. And also, did we have a light decorating contest this year? I don't think we did for the residential
I believe the
district.
Chamber of Commerce is working with one of the local real estate brokers, and it's ongoing as we speak.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. I was wondering about that. Okay, again, thank you, Mr. Davies. We were honored to have you as the mayor of our city, our beautiful city. And thank you for your service, and hope you can handle me being here for a while. So we'll see. Do I have any other comments?
I just want to welcome the new mayor.
Oh, thank you. Okey doke. If we have nothing further, I'd like to adjourn this meeting, and we'll
Adjourn to closed session.
adjourn to closed session.